The Japanese army in biochemical suits is pulling a large iron cage. Inside the iron cage is a large monster that the Japanese army developed through live experiments. The monster's skin is emitting small, snowflake-like toxic dumplings. As the iron cage slowly passed through the corridor of the dungeon, the smell of steamed buns gradually spread to every corner of the dungeon. The criminals found it very curious, and all reached out to touch it. These carbon fungus buns will melt upon encountering body heat, but only for a moment. The carbon bacteria virus causes the skin of those who come into contact with it to rapidly decay. These wounds are like being burned by charcoal, growing larger and larger. The heart-wrenching cries and pleas for help echoed throughout the dungeon. These viruses are merely a protective mechanism triggered while the monsters are asleep, and Dazuo Danteng excitedly watches the hell on earth that he has created. Those who quickly become infected with the carbon bacillus virus end up dying with their bodies completely rotting. Only a very small number of people who have not come into contact with steamed buns have escaped unscathed. The Japanese army is preparing to transfer the monster to a deeper underground cage, but the iron cage for transporting the monster was too large and got stuck when entering the elevator. While moving the iron cage, a devil accidentally closed the nitrogen valve. The nitrogen used to induce the monster's sleep in the iron cage instantly dissipated, and these few devils didn't notice at all. As the elevator gradually descended, Dazuo Danteng took off his mask and walked to the dungeon above. He wants to observe the full appearance of the monster from above. The ghost in the elevator heard a faint snoring sound coming from the iron cage. Looking back, I found that the buns around me seemed to have disappeared. The captain realized something was wrong and immediately checked the nitrogen valve, but it was already too late. The long tentacles struck the enemy's heart like lightning. Then multiple tentacles stretched out from the iron cage. In this cramped space, the monster can be said to wreak havoc everywhere. A devil managed to escape from the elevator by luck. The monster has also escaped from the iron cage. The higher-ups have no idea about the situation below. I can only use a flashlight to search for the shadows of monsters below. The captain in the elevator and the other soldier are not completely dead yet. The captain, in order to save his life, pointed a gun at the soldier and ordered him to close the elevator door. The deformed elevator door makes a sound with the slightest movement. Once a monster is summoned, death is inevitable, but the captain behind continued to force him to close the door with a gun. The soldier can only grit his teeth and carry on. The monster's tentacles swiftly struck, wrapping around his legs. He desperately clung to the elevator door, pleading with the captain to save his life. The captain clearly could break the tentacles, but he didn't want to shoot and attract the monster, so he frantically pounded on the soldier's hand that was holding the elevator door. The captain thought he was safe, but little did he know that the monster's tentacle had pierced right through his body. The intense will to survive drove the captain to keep firing, successfully driving back the monster. Taking the opportunity, he pulled the elevator switch. The captain, who had narrowly survived, advised to eliminate the spring-loaded one. The monster you created is a disaster. How could Danteng bear to kill his beloved creature? He only cares whether the monster is strong and beautiful.